I recently completed a GMAT mini quiz, and that was my last video. And I thought it was time therefore to do a mini quiz for the GRE. What makes this one different is that I have glanced at the questions, I haven't worked them out, but I have taken a look at the questions, and they are significantly harder than the average questions. Students talk to me about the test getting harder. Well, if you think the test is getting harder, these questions are for you, especially the last one is particularly hard. Again, I haven't worked them out, I don't know the answers. You're going to see me work them out. I'm going to bring out my interactive whiteboard, and so you can see my calculations. There are 4 questions in total, 2 of them verbal and 2 of them quant. So without further ado, let's get started. As always with these questions, try them yourself and then see if what you get is the same as what I get. You can do that by pausing the video, otherwise you're going to be influenced by me. Now the questions are of different sizes, so I have to adjust it each time. And for this one, we need to find one of these 3 answers, it looks like, for the first blank, and one of the last 3 answers for the second blank. Just see if that's how it works. Just click that and that. Yeah, okay, you're going to click 2 different answers. Okay, cool. Okay, let's read it slowly. James is something disposition. Disposition is kind of like your attitude, the way you behave, your facial expression almost, seemed irresistibly to infect those around him. So infect is a negative word perhaps. Taking wavering hope and turning it into robust optimism. Okay, well I was wrong. So they're using infect in a positive way here. This person takes hope and turns it into robust, solid optimism, being positive about the world. So I'm looking for the first blank for a very positive word. He irresistibly, people can't even resist becoming optimistic around him. Now, one of these 3 words is for that blank, and I think we can find it already. The only slight problem I have is I don't actually know what the first word means, sanguinary. I know what sanguine means, and I'm confident it's the right answer, because sanguine means optimistic, believing things are going well or going to go well. And that just fits in with the word optimism. We have a synonym there. And ruddy means red-faced. Kind of like a ruddy disposition would be someone whose cheeks are flush, for example, with redness. Ruddy sounds like red, ready, and that's what it is. But I don't know sanguinary. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure that it's sanguine, and maybe I can put on screen afterwards what sanguinary means, because I have no idea. Anyway, let's finish this. It was as if in his presence the silver lining of every cloud became, I'm expecting a word like magnified or even brighter. Silver lining of a cloud, that's an idiom meaning every bad event has a good side. So with this guy promoting optimism, that silver lining, the good bit, the good side, would become even bigger, something like that. Lackluster means faded, so no. Tangible means you can touch it, which doesn't really make sense. You're not going to touch a silver lining. Whereas coruscant, I just about know that. It's a great word. It means shines brightly, coruscating light. Something like that anyway. It means, I think, flashing like lightning. I remember knowing that word from about 15 years ago when I was writing when I was younger. But either way, pretty confident with those 2, but I hope you agree. They're quite a hard question here. Let's do the next one. Scroll down so you can see all the answers. As I say, I don't know the right answers here, but we're going to find out. Presumably it's going to be marked at the end. Our tour guide was obviously more capable than we thought. Cool. After the avalanche, he assumed something role, maybe leadership, leading us quickly out of danger, so like heroism maybe, checking us all for injury, and assuaging our fright, so reducing our fright. So kind of like a leader here. I'm looking for 2 words, because this is a sentence equivalence question. 2 words with roughly the same meaning, giving the same meaning for the overall sentence. An assuming role, that's not really positive. Guarded is like reluctant, doesn't fit in here. Pretentious is again an insult, means like going above his station and believing he's better than he is. It's too negative, too insulting. Protective makes sense. Tutelary, I don't know. And moralizing is a negative word. It kind of means to patronize people and give them sermons and lessons on what morals they should do. So you can see what's going on here, right? Kind of like the last question, there was one word I don't know, but I pick it because I know the others are wrong. Protective means you're protecting people, you're looking after them, which is what this person was doing. And tutelary, it kind of sounds a little bit like a tutor, which I should know as a tested tutor. I guess it means kind of lead people, take them under your wing. So I'm quite happy with that, especially because the other answers just are all negative. And this could well happen to you in your test, where you don't know one of the words. And what a lot of students do is they pick one word that they do know and like, protective, and then another word like moralizing, just because they don't know tutelary, so they're not going to pick it. And moralizing sounds like moral, so it's kind of a guess. I'd rather you picked the word you know and the word you didn't know than pick another answer that you basically know is wrong. That gives you the best chance of getting it right. We'll find out at the end, of course. Okay, those are my answers. Let's do the next one. And here we go, some quant. These are the ones I glanced at. And so I'm going to be using the online whiteboard for this. Quantity A, root pi percent of 700 over root pi. Again, definitely try these questions yourself before seeing how I do it. Let me see if I can get this whiteboard to work. Okay, so the first one is obviously the hardest one. Root pi percent of 700 over root pi. The first thing to realize is that percent means over 100. So let's see if I can write here. Root pi percent means root pi over 100. Just like 5% means 5 over 100. Root pi percent means root pi over 100. And what does of mean? Of means multiply. So we're going to multiply that by the 700 over root pi. I don't want you guys clicking away on that calculator, finding out what root pi is, and then dividing it by 100. It would be far better if you wrote it out like this first, and then noticed all the cancellations we can do. We can cancel out the root pi on top and bottom, and we can cancel out the 100 with the 700 just to get 7. So all of quantity A just becomes 7. And that's kind of working out what you want to do. And now quantity B is 343 over 49. Now, I happen to know what 343 is, but let's just think if I didn't. If I didn't, I'd look for a common factor in between these two. Obviously, you could just type into a calculator, to be honest. But if I didn't think of that, I'd look to cancel out. And 49 is 7 times 7. So I would long divide 343 by 7 to see what I can cancel out. Of course, I wouldn't blame anyone for just using a calculator here. But if we long divide 343 by 7, 7 goes into 34 4 times, that's 28, remainder 6, and 7 goes into 63, I believe that's 9 times. So 7 goes into 343 49 times. If we divide top and bottom by 7, 343 becomes just simply 49, and 49 just becomes 7. 49 divided by 7 is 7. So both quantities are equal, answer C. And it has moved us swiftly on to the next question. There was no submit button there. But either way, this is the question that I looked at before making this video, and I thought, ooh, I think you guys would like that because you're asking me about the harder level questions. And let's see here if you can do the question by pausing the video. I would say though, before you do, it is a hard level question, so don't blame yourself if you don't know how to do it. Okay, Jane must select 3 different items for each dinner she will serve. The items are to be chosen from among 5 different vegetarian and 4 different meat selections. If at least one of the selections must be vegetarian, how many different dinners can Jane create? The key phrase here to spot is at least, just at the beginning of the third sentence, at the right of the second line. If you don't spot that phrase, you're kind of a little bit screwed. And I think I've done a video on at least calculations. But either way, we need to spot that phrase. Because if at least one of the selections must be vegetarian, that's so many possibilities, right? It could be 1 vegetarian, 2 meat, or 2 vegetarian, 1 meat, or 3 vegetarian. Can you imagine the number of calculations we would have to do if we're doing it that way? That's why many of you would have either got the question wrong, given up halfway through, or wasted 6-7 minutes and ruined your time for the rest of the test. If you do spot that phrase at least, however, we've got a good chance of working it out. Because when they say at least one, that has many, many calculations. So what we do instead is we work out the opposite to at least one. How do we not get at least one selections being vegetarian? Well, if all of them are meat. And now you're thinking, what's the point of working out all of them being meat when the question said at least one must be vegetarian? Well, it's simple. We work out the total number of combinations, the massive overall total, and then we take away the failures. We take away when she gets all three meat. Because remember, at least one of the selections must be vegetarian. So if we do the total minus the combinations where she gets 0 vegetarian, that will give us all those combinations where she gets at least one. That's 1, 2, or 3 different vegetarian selections. Let me do that now on the notepad. See if I just do a new page. So what we're doing is the total, in a way, minus the failures, and that will give us the successes. So what we want is at least one. How do you spell successes? Is that 2 C's? I think so. I want to check that. Anyway, what we want is at least one vegetarian selection. So if we find the total minus the failures where she gets 0 veg, that will give us all the ways where she gets at least one veg. And now I have no space to actually work out, so I'm going to do a new page. But that's the formula I'm using. Total combinations, just write com for combinations, minus the failures equal the successes. And how am I going to work out total combinations? Well, how many items are there in total? There's 5 veg, 4 meat. So that's 9 items in total, and she's choosing 3 of them. So this is the formula for working out the total number of combinations. This is just a shorthand, of course, for the combinations formula. If you're not familiar with the combinations formula, then please do check out all the different videos I've done on combinations. For those of you who know the formula, we just need to work out this factorial. 9 factorial divided by 6 factorial, 9 minus 3 is 6. We'll just leave 9 times 8 times 7 on the top. And 3 factorial is 3 times 2. The 3 cancels with the 9 to get 6. The 2 cancels with the 8 to get 4. Whoops. The 9 cancels with the 3 to get 3. Did you spot that? Almost fell for that. So 9 cancels out with the 3 to get 3. 8 cancels out with the 2 to get 4. And now we just do 3 times 4 times 7, which is 84. So there's 84 different ways for her to select any 3 out of the total of 9 items. Now we need to minus those failures. So how can we calculate her failures? Well, to fail, she needs to get 0 veg. Because 0 veg is not at least 1 veg. And how does she get 0 veg? Well, if it's all meat, all 3 of them must be meat. So how many ways are there of picking all 3 being meat? Well, there's 4 meat in total, and she needs to choose 3 of them to fail completely. 4 choose 3, if you know the shortcut, is actually just 4. If the number below is just 1 less than the number on top, then the answer is just the number on top. So 4 choose 3 is 4. So there's 4 ways that she can fail. 84 ways in total, minus the 4 ways she can fail to get at least 1, equals 80 ways she can get at least 1 veg. And it's a much quicker method than working out 1 veg and 2 meat, 2 veg, 1 meat, and 3 veg. That takes a lot longer. And so that, I hope you would agree, is definitely a harder level question. And I hope my explanation made sense. And to end the video, let's see what I got. Scroll down, 4 out of 4. Very happy with that. Show me the answers. Oh, I have to sign up to get that. Anyway, I can leave you to do that if you want. But for now, I hope my explanations made sense. If you do want to do that, by the way, the link is in the description. This is all provided by Kaplan. Either way, hope this video helped. Please do leave a like if it did, and I look forward to reading your comments.